I should say good night. It is about, where I am, it's about 11:15 p.m. I'm normally in bed by now reading, but I wasn't sleepy, and my son is on spring break. My spring break is coming to a close. His is starting. I'm a teacher. He's a student, but we're not in the same schools. And then my wife is usually up until he goes to bed, and she's a night owl anyway, so that works out really well. But I wanted to talk about two decks, and I think I'm going to subtitle this Robin Made Me Do It. Robin from Toadstool Tarot. These are two decks. I remember this one he showed on his channel, and I don't remember which video it was, but it's one he showed, and I can't remember what he actually thought about it, but I saw it and I loved it, and I'll explain why when I go through it. And I'll start with this one because it's an RWS one. This is the Starlight Tarot from Wycliff, and this one is the Yarn Tarot for crocheters and knitters, spinners and weavers. And this one is actually from a company called Sixth and Spring Books. Now, Sixth and Spring creates quarterlies, magazines, books for the yarning, knitting, the fiber arts world. So that is their thing, and I think this is the only deck they've done like this. But this was done by them to focus on their crowd. And once again, I'll tell you a little bit more about that when I get to it. Robin showed this on his channel, and I had seen it before and thought about it because the price was so good. Wycliff decks are known for their quality cardstock, their vibrant images. On this deck, it's the colors, the feel of the cards. It's just a very well done deck. The boxes, it has the finger pull. They're very nice, thick cardboard. They are lined on the inside as well. And on the inside it says, "Discover the incredible wisdom of the tarot and bask in all its magic." And it has the little animation back there. Now, I'm sure that these were done digitally, and I don't have a problem with that because they're the RWS. They're the traditional RWS. They're not just like the Pamela Coleman Smith artwork, but it's a riff on that, and you'll see that. So let me get right into the deck. These are not in order. I don't think I've used them. Wycliff always includes a very nice book. It's not thin at all. And this one, I have seen them just white pages, which is fine, but it's still a nice, it's not a super thin paper, so it's really good quality. And it has the image in this one for the majors and the minors. And they usually do that. I don't know if they usually dedicate a full 2 pages to the card, but this one they did. They might. That might be sort of their thing because they've always included a nice book. And then quick reference meanings. They do have a little place for notes back here. And then in the front, of course, table of contents, introduction, how the deck is, just a very broad general introduction, how to begin. And then it should have the typical spreads, 3 card, 6 card, 4 here. It has yes, no questions, Celtic cross, standard. I never use it, but it's in every book I ever see. So plenty of, the chakra spread, that's kind of cool. But yeah, so plenty of spreads here to choose from, enough to get you started. And it's a basic deck. And then I do like this cover here. I think they did a really nice job with that. Let me check something. So I'm just going to hold these like this and go through them. But as you can see, it's a rather thick deck. I'm guessing it's 400 GSM, maybe 350 with a core, but I think it's probably 400. Their decks are always on the thicker side. However, it is flexible, so it does. The thicker deck makes it a little bit, well, if you had small hands, I guess, but it's still really flexible. It does really well with riffle shuffling. And then, of course, I do it the this way, so it does really well like this as well. Robin pointed out the colors, and when I had seen this deck before, I was uncertain of it because I wasn't sure if the colors, let me bring this down just a little bit more, were going to be how I wanted them. But when he showed it and started talking about it, and I started really looking at it, I thought, well, you know, it is, these decks are typically only around $17 from Wycliff. And the colors really are vibrant. In fact, even on my camera here, it's hard for me to get you to see how vibrant they really are. They're just beautiful. They're rich. They're very rich colors. Let me turn these up right. The cards have a very silky smooth to them. But I just love, and there's something about the way the outline of the image and the background, it gives it this little like sort of depth to the image. Almost like a pop-up book is how I would describe it, because it's not three-dimensional, and yet it has depth to it because of the way the color of the background. Turn this way. But I just think it's an absolutely beautiful deck. And when he showed it and was talking about the colors and mentioned the vibrancy of them, I said, well, let me try it. And I went to Amazon and they have it. And it's, like I said, it's normally, Wycliff decks are normally right around $17. And I don't have anything against their decks. They're just typically normally something I see. I did purchase, I can't remember the name of it. It was a Witch's deck. I'm sure that you've seen, I did a walkthrough of it and I don't remember it because like, I passed it along. I didn't use it. And I liked it. I liked the artwork. I liked the images. I did not connect with it because there was some sort of, to me, there was something missing. It had images of runes in it, and it had some symbols in it to sort of make it this background story. And the book, the guide, nothing online spoke to what those images meant. And then I found out that they were just an artistic expression. And I felt like that was a missed opportunity. And I mentioned that in my walkthrough of it, that was if they didn't have a meaning, and I couldn't find one in the deck itself, in the book, I mean, while I was going through it. And it turned out that it was a missed opportunity because I don't think it would have taken much to use real, look at this, that's beautiful Page of Swords. Samurai type look. The Hangman. But this is a beautiful deck. And if you want an RWS deck that is true to the style, that is vibrant in color, has a different feel than the typical RWS or the artwork from Pamela Cullen Smith, but yet still feels very connected to it, then I would highly recommend this deck. It'd be a great deck for a beginner. But the way and it's, I believe it's just the two colors. It is, and the brass sort of color here. But it's blue and orange, or that orangey red. I'm a little colorblind when it comes to variances and colors that are in the same family. But it really is wonderful what they have done with a limited color palette. And I think you can see, I think this is showing it very well, actually. I think these cards are tactile. I think the way they feel, I think the camera misses something because they are a very nice feel. They have a weight to them, but yet they're still flexible. And, oops. So, that is the Wycliff Starlight Tarot. And I think it sells for around $17 US. Give or take $1 or $2 depending on where you are. But the backs are fine. I mean, they're not something I would write home about, but I think they did a nice job. I think it matches the color palette of the deck. How they fan is just beautiful. I don't have a lot of space to fan here, so I just have to kind of like lay it out, but you can see how easily they just went. And then that gilding, of course, it is the harder gilding, you can tell that. So if you do shuffle roughly with your cards, then you will need to, of course, might have some chipping there over time. I don't worry about that too much. I do like the way they look, and they just have a great feel. I wish I could. I wish that videos could show how cards feel, but it has that. You can hear it. It's not just a slippery mess. It has a little bit of a sheen. It's not. I want to say it's matte, but it has a UV coating on it, I think, that gives it just the tiniest bit of sheen. But just holding it without all the special lighting, it's just a matte. I would say it's a matte. It's not a flat matte, but it is a matte. All right, so that is the Wycliff Tarot as suggested and shown. I don't know if it's suggested is the right word, but as shown and commented on by Robin at Toadstool Tarot, and I will put his link in the comments below, as well as on the screen here. I can't quite do that as well as a lot of people can. And then the Yarn Tarot, and I cannot remember which video he did, but this is one of the first videos I saw that he did. He did the Yarn Tarot, and why I was drawn to it. Well, so look at the backs of the box. The back of the box. It's really beautiful. Yarn Tarot infuses the much beloved Rider-Waite Tarot decks with 4 different yarn crafts: crocheting, knitting, spinning, and weaving. So the reason I bought this deck is because I crochet, I knit, and I spin. I don't weave, but my wife does. So she does all 4. I do 3 of these. And then she also works for her family business, which is a yarn store. And they're very much into fiber arts. So I actually met my wife at the yarn store at which she works because I was looking for yarn. My sister had just taught me to crochet. I was just teaching myself how to knit. And I was looking for some yarns, and the store was recommended to me because I wanted more than, say, your standard craft shop. Because I wanted some natural fibers and wools and different types of fibers and cottons, and they have a lot of natural fibers, hand-dyed fibers, and it's just really beautiful. So it's more of that. It's like a notch up from your craft store. It really is a fine yarn. So these are drop spindles, and if you don't know what that is, you would have. Once the sheep is shorn and carded and washed and carded and gotten all the fuzzies out and it's nice and clean wool, you have this, it looks like pillow stuffing almost, but you have the fiber. And then if you take a tiny little pinch of it and twist it, then you start getting a string. The fiber joins together, twists and grabs each other. And so then the fibers, depending on how you twist, how fast you twist, how much you grab at the beginning, makes your string thinner or thicker or whatever. So then you take those threads or strings, you do those individually, and then you ply those together. So then you take 2 or more and ply them together, and that makes your yarn. But this is what they're doing here. So if you could see the top of this band, it is attached to a big floofy. And this is slowly feeding out of it like a spider's web. It's really cool to watch. And then this is spinning. And when this gets almost to the floor, you stop it, pick it up, wind this around here, and then start it dropping again. So it's a drop spindle. I've tried it. I'm not that good at drop spindling. I use a spinning wheel, and I love it. My wife bought me that 1 year after we were married. Yarn Tarot. This book, it's a hardcover book. It's really beautiful for crocheters, spinners, and weavers. And I love, once again, the colors and the art. And this is not a typical deck I would like if it wasn't about yarn, knitting, and weaving, I wouldn't have bought it. But it has your basic spreads, and then in here it's going to have your basic meanings. It does have a picture with each card, and then as is standard, the suits get a half a page, but still in the meaning that you need to get started and the image of the card. So it's it's a very nicely made book, and I think they did a great job with it. And I don't think this deck new is, I think, $20 and still is, and it's still available. So that's a plus. The box is really nice. Make sure I got everything out of there. It is, I don't know what GSM this is, but it's really, it almost feels woody. It's so well done. Spinning, crocheting, weaving, knitting. I think that's beautiful how they did that. And then on the inside, if you can see at the bottom, that is a skein of yarn at the bottom. On this side, once again, crochet, knitting, weaving, and spinning. And it's actually a match of what's on the outside. See this spinning here? And it comes over and then carries over on the inside. So it's really, it's really well done. Whoever did this put some thought into it, and it turned out nice. So I'm very impressed with the book and the box and the cards. The cards are a little bit thicker than US Games, but it has that sort of US Games feel. It is a matte, which is beautiful. They fan nicely. They're not very slippery, but they do have that little bit of smoothness to them, so they move around really nicely. They riffle shuffle great because, and I'm not a riffle shuffler, but yeah, they have a nice flexibility. They hold their shape though. And then if you want to shuffle like this is how I shuffle. I love it. I think I had these in order. Now they're not, but that's okay. But wands are crochet hooks, which is really cool because with crochet hooks, you only have one. So it's this sort of, I don't know what this art style is called, but I love it. And it's not just something I typically go for, but for this, I like it because knitting, crocheting, weaving, all of that, when you take it down to its core, it's all geometry. In fact, there's only 2 stitches in knitting, and it is knit and purl. And a friend of mine who's a computer programmer, when I was explaining to him, every pattern you have, every design you make is a combination of knits and purls. And he just looked at me and goes, oh, it's binary. And it really is. It's very mathematical, very geometrical. So the fact that they use these sort of blocky geometrical shapes for this deck, I don't know if they were intending it to have that implication, but it makes sense to me as someone who does the art. And I'm going to lay these out like the other ones because I don't want this to be a beleaguered walkthrough. This is a very RWS deck. A very, there was a little bit of a hiccup there as my camera went on its own adventure. But anyway, as I was saying, this is a very RWS-based deck. Some of the cards are pippish, but you would just read them as they would as an RWS because that was the intention of the deck. And unless you just use numbers to read. Some people use number meanings or numerology with RWS tarot decks. Look at that Page of Swords, absolutely beautiful. And the Knights, Queen of Swords. She is knitting. Swords are wands are crochet hooks. Swords are needles, yarn knitting needles. Pentacles are the woven images of the pentacles. This death card is interesting because it has this sort of woven looking flag. There's a sun back there, but then the yarn is just on the ground and it's rolling away from the people as death enters the picture. The Devil. The devil is fairly basic. There is one thing I think people who are into yarn arts, it's like any other thing. You can never have too much yarn. And so I think there was a missed opportunity here, maybe for a little bit of a joke. Someone just buried under a pile of yarn, or tangled up in their knitting needles, or I don't know, just something, but very typical devil card. And I think they could have had a little fun with it, but not necessary. And it's not, a turn off or anything. It's just something I thought of. 7 of Pentacles, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, I think, is beautiful. Some of these are fairly straightforward and don't try to incorporate. Now look at this poncho that she's wearing. I believe that's female. She's wearing is woven, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. My cousin does weaving like that. These huge, beautiful fabrics. Here they all are holding up their yarn. I think it's hilarious. But if you appreciate yarn arts and you're actually a knitter or a crocheter or a weaver, spinner, I think a deck like this would really speak to you. And once again, the cardstock is lovely. Look at the moon card. Isn't that beautiful? This is like a row of, the water is like a row of knitting. And then here's yes, absolutely beautiful. This is going through a woven heart. 4 of Swords. 9 of Cups. Cups are the drop spindles. King of Cups. The Chariot. I love the scooter for the Chariot. And then here are the 2 little guys there. And I love that, like the Chariot is a guy. So I love the fact that just because it's, I know that the art is predominantly carried by women, but I love that they included men in this, because I have known not only myself, look at this hermit, it's beautiful, but a lot of men work in fiber arts. And so I love that it's very balanced in its representation, and they didn't try to over-feminize it or under-feminize it. They didn't focus on one or the other. It's very balanced. This is an extra card. Not really quite sure why decks do that, but it's kind of cool. I like it. I usually, when I put these back in the box, I usually put this on the front side. So when I go to pick it up, that's the one I'm grabbing all the time. So if I don't always wear it out, if I do wear it out, it's this one. The Fool. Okay, see, this is what I was talking about. So this person has gone shopping and bought way too much, probably. Because that's what you do at a yarn shop, or when you go shopping for yarn. It's just what you do. Here's the Magician. The Magician does it all. The Magician's like my wife. She does it all. I don't do the weaving, but I do the other 3. Spinning wool is one of the most cathartic things you can do. It's meditative. It's relaxing. It's frustrating to try to get the hang of it, but once you've got it, and you think you're never going to get it, and then you do. And it's all about the catch and release, the grab of the fibers, feeling it come through your fingers, knowing when it's enough, and then the Lovers. So, once again, a beautiful deck, and I have Robin from Toadstool Tarot to thank for this deck. I love it. I also have him to thank for the, was it the Starlight Tarot? Let me look at the name again. Yep, the Starlight Tarot. Another beautiful deck. But I love how this just all fits together, and then it's not like even a little up. The box itself fits very nicely together. And if it's going to slide out, like you might take it off the shelf like this and it start to slide, but it's not going to just fall out. It's got enough air pressure between it to hold it in place. 2 decks I found by watching Robin at Toadstool Tarot. I thank him. I thank him for his hour on Saturdays. I really look forward to that. And then after that, there's Simon from the Hermit's Cave most days. So I wanted to share these 2 with you and mention that. And if you're looking for 2 decks or a deck that isn't very high priced, great graphics, great colors, great cardstock, and reads RWS, so you don't have to go try to find out how to read it. Either one of these or both are great. So with that, have a great night, and I will see you soon. Bye.